Hey guys, glad to have you back for Real Life Issues. You got Jason here, and you got me, Tim, and we're glad you're taking time out to visit with us. And we hope that what we bring is something that you can take away and use, maybe help others with. And there's a song that Jason's called "War." What good is it? And so I want to ask you today, Sunday, what good is it? Because there's a lot of people who don't really understand the seriousness of Sunday and what we do on a Sunday. Why does it stand out? What? Here's the reason I'm asking it. There's a couple of scriptures that I've read. Let me read them. Romans chapter 14, verses 5 and 6 specifically says, one person values one day over another. Another values every day the same. Each person must be fully convinced in his own mind, and the one who observes that day should observe it for the Lord. Colossians 2:16 says basically the same thing. Therefore, no one is to act as your judge in regard to food or drink, or even in respect to a festival or a new moon or a Sabbath day. So it seems to give the indication to me that we don't have to worship on Sunday. That fair?
I think you could read it that way if that's what you want. Kind of like war, what good is it? To the person that wants war, it's pretty good. So the person that wants a Sunday, I think it's pretty good. I think that those scriptures are actually talking about that one day is not above another day, because the Old Testament, there was a Sabbath. And there's, we're in the New Testament. We're not in the Old Testament.
The Sabbath was a Saturday.
Well, it was a Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was it was the seventh day of the week. So, but believers started meeting on the first day of the week. And I think the biggest thing is that you choose a day of the week that you can meet. And I think you need to be collective in that. The scripture, Matthew 18:20 says, where two or more gathered, there I am also. The scripture, Acts 2:42 is they met daily. So if you want to take it to a new Christian, let's meet every day. You know what I mean? Hey, let's just all move in. We sell everything we own, and we
Sure.
That's what that was saying.
Sure.
Colossians 3:16, it talks about having teachers and preachers and we're coming in together.
What do you mean on a Sunday?
It could be a Sunday, it could be a Tuesday, it could be a Monday, but I personally believe it should be Sunday because that's the day we're all meeting. So and that was the day that the disciples met.
Well, I was just going to say the early church. It seems that they met on the first day of the week, which would be our Sunday.
Right.
And you find that in New Testament scriptures that even it would seem, if you study it, that started after the resurrection, and the early church practice was they met because he arose on that Sunday morning.
Well, I think it's Acts 27
It is?
where Paul met, and hey, he spoke into midnight. Now, I wonder what would happen if I spoke into midnight.
Well, you do sometimes.
Yeah, nobody's listening on that. But I don't think that. I think that Sunday matters because it needs to be set apart, and you don't fit God into your week. You frame your week around Him. So, and I think that Sunday being the first day, that's a good time for people to meet.
Okay, and so together. Sunday, kind of generalize that, if you will, what Sunday is about.
Well, Sunday is about that we should align ourselves to God. We focus on Him. It's more important than work. He's the reason that we have our jobs. It's more important than just the busyness that we do. We align ourselves to Him on that day. Our Sunday here is, we say it's only about Christ. We talked about this one time before. We gave up birthdays on Sundays, and buddy, you'd have thought that the world was coming apart. Well, my birthday's coming up this weekend, well, good, but we're not about your birthday on Sundays. We're about the Lord.
That's right.
And so it's Christ. And so we meet together to worship with Him.
So our focus, okay, all right, hang on. Because of some basic principles that we find in the New Testament, that the Sabbath was the Lord rested and he created the Sabbath and the law for the Jewish people to meet on that Saturday. They worshiped on that Saturday. And then as the New Testament came, it would seem that the New Testament believers kind of not pulled away from that, but started meeting on the first, and primarily because of what we see, they started this after the resurrection. They started it, and so go ahead. You sound like you interject.
If I want to be legalistic, I'm a legalistic person, and what that means is I'm trying to prove what I want to do to be okay, and those people is not really about God as much as it is them, because let me get the book out. Let me find a clause where I can get out of what I want to do.
Right.
Then hey, you can take the scriptures and prove whatever you want to.
Can I give one example?
Oh, sure.
Hebrews 10, verse 24 and 25 says, don't forsake the assembling of yourselves together as some is, as the day is approaching. And some people will use that and say, see, you should be at the church every time the doors are open.
Yeah, that's legalistic. Now, see, that's going in the total opposite direction. You know what I mean? That's legalistic. What we should be doing is aligning our lives up to God.
We do that on Sunday.
And we do that on Sunday. Hey, we get together for Sunday school, and let's see what the scriptures say. We worship Him together. We cast the rest of the world aside, and it should be about alignment more than being legalistic or forcing that. It's not just about attendance. It's about alignment.
Oh, okay. Keep that phrase.
Yeah.
It's more about alignment than it is attendance. That's good. That's a good one right there. Because there's plenty of people, even in our church.
Oh, sure.
Plenty of people that go to church because it's the Sunday thing to do. And you feel better about, hey, I did my Sunday thing.
Sure.
Now, hey, Lord, I got 6 days to myself now.
Right.
I did that for you. And I think a lot of people would never say it like that. They never say it like that. But maybe in their heart, they're saying that.
And more about attendance, more about alignment than attendance, I say also speaks to you and I. How many days are you here a week?
Oh, yeah, well, 4 or 5 easily.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
This past Sunday, I got up, kind of like the old joke is, I said, I don't want to go. And my wife says, you're the preacher. You need to go.
You wake up saying, I don't think I'll go to church today. Yeah.
And this past Sunday to me was one of those. I'm churched out this past week. It was a lot of church.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, I needed Sunday to get aligned back, because it was not about the works and the legalism of it. I needed just to say, hey, God, here I am, and I'm here for you, and let me give it over to you and get me out of the way. And I was the one that was preaching, but to be honest with you, I kind of got lost in it myself, because I enjoyed the fellowship and the worship of it.
Jason, do you think that some people who are really good people and good workers at the church, do you think sometimes they come so often to the church to get this program done, to get this situation done, to work on this, to work on that, and they do, and throughout the week they do it, and then Sunday morning comes up and go, I don't really need that Sunday morning thing, because I've been at church
I've seen it
just about every day.
I've seen it so many times. The least attended Sunday is the Sunday after we had a lot of events. Let us cook a meal because we're going to raise some money up. And next thing you know, well, I can't make, I was there yesterday, and I just can't, and so it's that, well, if I do more good than I do bad, I'm a good person, and I spent my week there already. And it's about Christ. I don't care how good you do. You're not good enough to get to heaven.
You just said it earlier. It's not about attendance. It's not about attending all these things. It's not about how much time you spent here. When you come, you said this earlier when we were discussing this and what we talked about. You said, Tim, what we've got to remember is we are here for Him, and obviously good fellowship among the brothers and brothers and sisters in the Lord. But we're here. If our focus is not on Him when we're here to worship, then we've missed the point of Sunday.
That's exactly right. Sun, S-O-N, Sunday.
That's
It's
good.
not about Sunday, just another day of the week. It's about His
Wow,
day.
wow,
And
wow.
we are here to worship Him. And part of that is going to the classes where there's teachers, and in Ephesians chapter 4, was it?
Yeah,
4?
chapter 4.
It,
Yep,
it
yep,
talks
mhm.
about there's teachers
Verse
and there's
11, yep, yep.
verse 11, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're here to learn more. It's not just to learn because it's a job. We're here to learn about Him. And how can I apply that to my life?
Yeah.
How can I learn more so that I can apply Jesus into my marriage? How can I learn more about Jesus so I can apply it into my finances?
Yeah.
How can I learn more about Jesus because it's about Him doing the work within us, not about us doing good works.
And if we don't meet together as a group,
Yeah.
what, ecclesia? Is that the
Ecclesia,
word?
that's
You
it,
heard
that's
that?
it,
Yeah.
that's it. The church.
I sounded
Yeah.
pretty smart, didn't I?
Can you spell it?
Never mind.
Me
So-
either.
So EKK. No. So bottom line is if we stayed home, we're going to lose that opportunity of where He needs to align us.
That's it.
Because throughout the week, I get crooked.
Me too.
I get pulled this way,
Me-
pulled that
me
way.
too,
Sin
me
will
too.
drag me over here. My thoughts
too.
will drag me over here. My opinions will drag me over
Right.
here. And so when I come together, if my focus is on Him on Sunday, then my alignment, I like that word.
That's it.
What do we got to remember this? It's not about attendance, it's about alignment.
That's it.
good. All right, let me say this real quick. John Calvin, great theologian, he said this: the Lord's day is not merely for rest from labor, but for the public worship of God, that we may be spiritually refreshed.
That's it.
I'm telling you, when I come and we sing and we hear the choir and we might hear the offertory and we hear an individual sing and then you share the word, I leave refreshed.
Me too. Me too.
And that's part of that alignment.
Me too. I think that alignment helps us guard against things that maybe we shouldn't do. And you were talking about those points. I know that God is the same yesterday and today and tomorrow. So I do think that maybe it's a twist on which day it is, but it's still the same God. And in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, He's still the same. So we may have different techniques and ways that we do things, but it's still the same thing where we worship Him. Isaiah chapter 58, 13 through 14 says, if you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, or think of that day, the Sunday, or whatever day that we as a group are choosing to worship Him, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy day of the Lord honorable, and shall honor Him. I'm going to lose you in all these words, but hear this part. Not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure. And then I'm going to skip down to 14. Then you shall delight yourself in the Lord. And I think that's the big part. We're aligning ourselves to Him because He is greater than we are. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't have something in your life that's greater than you are, then you're troubled. And I can tell you that most definitely the Lord is greater than you are. And what a good time to come in and honor Him, worship Him,
Yeah.
pour yourself into Him, So
A good man who goes here, wonderful Christian man, and he's involved. His name is Byron Mulder, and he was here earlier when I was here before Jason walked in, and he was sharing with me, and you might know this story, but he's a big fisherman, and he used to do fishing tournaments, and they stopped doing them on Saturdays because there'd be so many people at the lake, and so he said, well, why don't we just have those tournaments on Sunday morning? And they were going okay, but do you know the story? One day he came home after a tournament on a Sunday, and he knew better. He knew better. And before I finish the story, let me interject something. We want you to understand there's nothing wrong with missing a Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay? There's nothing. We want you to know we're not so
no, this is not legalistic.
legislated
Yeah,
yet
that's right.
that you better be at church every Sunday.
Yeah.
So understand that first off. But Byron knew that this was becoming a normal routine. Every Sunday he was scheduling
right.
fishing
That's
tournaments.
exactly right.
So he came home one particular day. He said, Tim, the Lord got my attention. He said, I started feeling pains down my left arm, pains down my right arm. He said, I started feeling, what's going on? What's going on? And so he has a sister that's a nurse. And she said, get to the hospital. So went to the hospital, and sure enough, he had some blockage. And he wouldn't appreciate you smiling right now, by the way. But anyway, we know Byron very well. But he got a stent put in.
Yeah.
And he said, Tim, that's all it took.
That's right.
God got my attention.
That's right.
And I went on to share with him in the office. I said, but Byron, you know what? It was okay that you had a fishing training. He said, but not how I was having it on a routine basis.
Right.
I said, that's exactly right. That's the difference.
That's
Because you
right.
got to, like you said, honor the Lord with this day. Honor the Lord with it. See what
right.
he has to say to you. See what he has to say to me. You
Right.
know?
I think you within your rights, if you want to do things, it's not legislative. I like that word. It's not legislative
Yeah.
that we have to come. But at the same
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
listen, if you're not honoring God and not doing those things, he'll get your attention if you're one of his. David had a son, and he wasn't coming to see him. And so they went out and got his son's attention. They burned down his wheat fields and said, hey, if you have time for all this stuff, I'll take that away. You come see me. And he did. So be careful that God don't burn down your wheat fields on whatever you're doing to get your attention, because he will. He loves you enough to get your attention, and so, but when we're thankful for what he does for us and we give that day to him, it seems like everything just seems to fall in place. And plus you're rested, you're refreshed, and you're ready to go battle the world again for the rest of the week.
Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you, or will be organized around you. They'll be in
right.
place.
That's right.
So kind of wrapping this stuff up. Now,
Sure.
restrictions, would you say there's any restrictions for a believer, for a Christ follower, when it comes to a Sunday, what he can do, what he can't do? Would you say there are?
They put restrictions on Christ, and I, and buddy, he broke them down. He ate some wheat out of the field, you know what I
That's
mean?
right.
And
That's right.
and he broke them down. So I'm careful about being legalistic
Yep.
about things. He said, hey, if the ox is in the ditch, you got to get the ox out,
That's right.
And listen, there's some people here that are doctors. There's lawyers. There's
First
first
responders,
responders. Let me
policemen,
tell you something.
firemen.
We need you on that day, but just make it so you're not looking for a reason to miss his day, and make sure that you're not worshiping yourself. You're worshiping him, because I think that is a big part of it. It's about him and not about you.
So if I'm looking for a job, if I'm looking for work,
Sure.
and the only thing that I seem to find is something that's going to have me working on some Sundays, maybe every Sunday.
Sure.
Do I go, nope, not going to do it, can't take it?
Well, I think that depends on the person. I think each of us has a purpose.
And their situation?
And their situation.
Okay.
And if God is
Okay.
calling you and he's saying, you know what, I think you need to be at my house, he may be calling you to be a preacher. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he also called you to be a father and a provider. A man that don't work, don't eat. And so I believe that you take those because he's called you to be responsible for your family. I do think that if that's a calling on your heart, hey, take that job, work it hard, and he may provide something for you easier or later. But we have policemen in here that are at work, and they ask me ahead of time, what do you think? I have to work on Sundays.
Sure.
That's okay.
Sure,
That's not big. I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks, and I'm going to be in the middle of Montana. If I can find a church service somewhere, I'm going to go. But I'm not going to stop everything on that Sunday just to go look for one. I'm going to take that day off.
Sure.
And I'm going to be
nothing's
with
wrong
my
with that.
family. Nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah. I think,
I think it's about being. It's not being legislative about it, and I love that word, or legalism about it. But I think that if we know that we need to take time to be with God's people, and if we are off and we have those times from our jobs, try to make it to the Lord's house.
well, if someone were to talk to me and say, Tim, what do you think? Should I take this job? This is what, two things I'd say. Number one, I'd say, I'd pray about it
Sure.
and get God's blessings.
That
And
would-
if
that-
you sense
that's
that
well
peace-
said. That's well said.
And if you sense God's peace, then you take it. And then I would encourage that individual. I say, look, say, God, use me on that day to be a witness and a testimony for you when I'm not at church.
That's right.
And if you can possibly have a short devotion with other believers there,
Sure,
I don't
sure,
know, during
sure.
a break time.
Sure.
So look for opportunities to be Christ in that given situation. But you and I would agree, there's
yeah.
nothing evil about having a job on Sunday
No.
or and being gone occasionally on Sunday. But I do think our heart needs to be in the right place. As you said, let's come for Him so that we can find that alignment and so that we can fellowship together. And let's make it significant. Let's make it important enough that everything else is second to that.
Yeah, I think in hardship and trials, sometimes God will send us things that help us get out of it. But I do think that I shouldn't take the blessings He gives us and put them in front of Him. I know people who can afford a camper, people who can afford second and third homes or lots of vacations or things. And I think we have to be careful that we don't take the blessings He gives us and we put them in front of Him.
Well, that's good. Yeah, we've got
know.
another good brother here, a good family. She's in the choir, Angie Miller and Chad Miller.
Yeah.
And Chad, he would tell you right off the bat that they kind of got sideways. And he's a great fisherman.
Oh, he's good.
He has won
Woo,
boats.
he's a man.
He's won all
Yeah.
kinds of tournaments. And
Sure.
and he started. He's a guide fisherman.
Right,
You
that's
probably
right.
know
Oh,
that.
yeah, I've used
And
it.
Have you? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I can't
Okay.
catch a fish on my own, but I can catch one with him. I feel like a pro when I'm with
He
it.
will take you to where
Yeah.
they are. And so, but he would tell you that he got kind of sideways and he got lost in all that stuff. And boy, thank the Lord, they're back serving. I mean, he's in a breakfast ministry. His wife Angie's in the choir. They are plugged in. They were plugged into Easter in the eclectic program.
Sure.
Because he got what?
Aligned.
A line, bro.
Aligned. Can I close this out? And I got a phrase that we talked about ahead of time.
Yeah,
and
I like this phrase.
I love the phrase.
I like it.
We came up with it together. But it's set Sunday apart and let me read it again. I broke my glasses. So anyway, set. I broke them up here because I'm ADHD. Anyways, set Sunday apart, so you may
Come on,
stay
you can do this. Come on.
aligned. You
Try
know
it
what I mean?
again, try it
All right.
again.
Set Sunday apart so that you can stay aligned.
So you
and
can
I
stay.
think that's it. Stay aligned, and I think that's a big deal.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. And I sincerely, I love the focus that we're putting on this. It's all about Him.
It's about Him. It's about Him.
And
it's
you know
about
what?
Him.
If we remember that, Sunday will take on a whole different purpose and meaning.
It sure will.
Wow. That's
And I'll
good.
tell you, and I talk to people that says, well, I have something, you say, well, I read, and I'm listening to that word I read, I.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
about
yeah.
you. It's not about me. It is about Him. And when
Wow.
He's first is there, so let's say it again. Set Sunday apart so that you can stay aligned.
That's good. That's
And,
good.
so-
Hey, if you're looking for a good church, we want to invite you to Claude
do.
Church. Man, we'd love to have you here. We've got one of the sweetest fellowships of people. We've got our warts and flaws and problems. Let me tell you, we do, okay? But we have a wonderful church. We feel like God's all over it, and He's directing us and where we need to go, and we follow His lead. And so if you're sitting here going, man, I need to get plugged back in. I need to be going on Sunday somewhere where I can get aligned. Man, come on. We'd love to have you. Claude Church, little community outside of a small town called Eclectic, Alabama. We'd love to have you here. Our services start right around 11 o'clock. 10:55, we have some announcements. Then we get cranked up at 11 o'clock. And it's nothing spectacular. we don't have the smoke screen and the
Skinny
skinny
jeans, that's it, yeah.
Which nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that either.
yeah,
Okay,
no,
nothing wrong.
no.
But we just what we do, we just try to come and really just worship the Lord. And you can find them on YouTube. Just pull up Claude Church and we're rural. Okay, just remember we're rural. That's a hard word.
We are the suburbs of Atlantic, so that tells you something. But at the same time, listen, we're talking about staying set apart or keep Sundays separate so that we can stay aligned. Listen, every Sunday, I know Tim prays over what his worship service is gauged, so it's worshiping Christ and trying to line every heart there up with Him.
Just like you do about your message.
And I do the same thing with the
right.
message. It's about Him, not about us. So we are very genuine in our worship of Him. So,
We're and I know why you said that.
Yeah.
Recently, I've just said, Jason, do you think that if anybody's going through YouTube and they happen to see ours, would they be impressed? And he said, hey, Tim, I don't think it's about whether they're impressed or not. We just need to be doing what God has called us to do. And you were right, Jason. I'm telling you, and that's what we do. We're not worried about what people might think about the interior, exterior, or the service. Just know this, what Jason just said, we're genuine. And we're genuinely trying to honor the Lord with what we do. Man, good stuff.
Amen.
Hey, thanks, guys. Hope this meant something to you. And we'll see you next time on Real Life Issues.